Hey guys, Fearu here again. I'm going to be bringing you episode number 4. The game we're going to be going over today actually occurred before my last episode, but it ties in really well as kind of the afterthought. So, like, you have different degrees of ragers, as we saw like the 10th level, I suppose, in last episode where you have a guy, he gets mad at your teammate, they both decide to go mid, and one guy's like, yeah, I'm just not dealing with this, I'm leaving. Yeah, what are you gonna do? That's worst case scenario, but everyone has some sort of rage on their team, and the question is to what degree. Um, Today's episode's gonna kind of show you what happens when you get to kind of the end game, and we have someone getting mad at someone else on our team, and as someone kind of just observing this happening, like one guy's getting mad at someone else on our team, the best thing you can do, particularly when you're the highest MMR in your game that you're playing, I'm going to be at about 1625, I think, or 20, whatever, dealing with a couple of sub 1600s, is to kind of take control and just be like, okay, listen, here's what we need to do, and I'm going to kind of show you what happens in a game that we have control of, but we're slowly losing it due to poor team play and how to just regain it. So let me just jump you right into game. Okay guys, so here we are in game, and I'm only bringing this part of the game up because I just want you to see kind of the players I was dealing with and the situation I was in. So right now you'll see that we have 1640 in Luna, and then two of us at 1600, and then I've got these two here that are sub 1500, and these are actually the two that get mad at each other. We have this teal who's 0.8 KD, 50% win ratio, just standard 1500 player, has 1600 games played, like plays this game a lot, but isn't really progressing. And then we have kind of the exact same situation, has 800 games played, 0.8 KD, a little bit higher than Teal currently. But, I mean, they're going to suffer variance going higher, going lower. And these are actually the two that get mad at each other. And I kind of did the best that I could to control the situation and make sure it didn't implode. Otherwise, this game could have taken a wild turn. It's a really long game, so I'm going to jump towards the end. Started like where things started heating up. And yeah, I'll just skip right there now. Give me a sec. Okay, guys. So this is the beginning of a fight, and this is probably a situation where we've all been in before. My team has pretty sound control of the game. I mean, if you just look from a pure levels perspective, we're doing really, really well in a lot of categories, including, I mean, it's 23 to 10, and we were training pretty hard, the legendary pub train, right? But a lot of people suffer from the same issue. After all the tier 1 towers are destroyed, and you don't really have another tower to go to, people often don't know what to do and start going off and doing their own thing, and start getting into battles with no vision or just lack of coordination. I mean, that's one of the biggest things for solo queue players, is they have a lack of coordination. The fight starts, and no one is discussing who they should kill first before the fight begins. Oh, we need to kill, what? So on this game, I've got Hag, Artillery, Witch, Bushwhack, Meraxis. We're not discussing, oh, hey, we all need to, Parasite's gonna solo Hag, and then we'll have Rampage kill Witch. And no, we don't. We just kind of go do our own thing. Is someone low? Kill them quick. That's essentially what the thought is. I make a standard mistake. In this, I'll just show you this fight sequence real fast. I jump in and kill Bushwhack because I'm at that point where I can one-shot anyone. That was kind of a mistake. Yeah. And then I believe I KS Witch here, because I like to KS. And then I chase Meraxis way too far, and Rampage makes a mistake of coming with me. There's only two of them. There's only two people up right now. Like, I know this, and my codex is just like so close to off cooldown, and I'm like pretty sure it'll bring him to near death. I didn't check it. Had I no, I should have realized he had that much HP, and I should have backed. Like I should have backed when I was here, but I dive. And like 1500s, these guys just follow me. And obviously, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna back out, and he's not. He's gonna just keep diving. Actually, I probably could have killed artillery there too. Wow, that was a pile of mistakes, to be honest. But what happens here is Rampage gets stuck and dies. So right now he's gonna rage. He's just, this is where his rage begins, as a 1500 player, and he's gonna see us all here. He's gonna see Bubbles at full health, and he rages in voice. So I'm gonna try to sum it up. Okay, so right after that engagement, Rampage is just pissed. He dies, and he's like, "Oh, all you guys are back here," and he kind of pings to where we were. And this is where he begins to get frustrated with the team. He's like, "Oh, we all need to go in as one." When in reality, what happened was I overextended. MOA went with me, and Rampage went with me, and this happens so often. This is something every single one of us can correct. We've all seen it, whether we've done it or teammates done it. And it's just overextending, and then fights go on way, way, way too long. That fight should have ended literally, like, maybe a minute earlier. And instead we're diving, they're respawning, the fight keeps going. And it's just something that needs to be corrected. We need to be happy with what we get, and like a fight that should have ended where we get like 3 kills and they get 1 ends up as a 3-2, and these can change all the time. You can get like a 4-3 and then it turns into a 4-5 because you could just kept going, kept being greedy. You're like, gotta cast my spells now. They're almost off cooldown, and we just need to back and play defensively as soon as you've done what your goal is. I'm going to speed the game up now and push it a little bit farther in. It's a really long game, and just kind of show you where this goes. Okay, so here we are at basically what was another impromptu fight. Basically what had happened was I was in their jungle, farming it up after we had that fight that occurred mid, and they chased me. And my team is just like, "Oh, I see action on the field." So I've got orange trying to follow up. I have blue literally full health, doesn't know what's going on. It's just like, "I'm gonna come." Rampage is like, "I'm a coming" with his charge. So this fight kind of plays out, and I believe it's kind of, actually I don't recall it perfectly. Okay, Bubbles initiates. Rampage is still coming. I'm gonna get a kill, Pink's gonna get a kill. Meraxis, we find out that Meraxis is becoming an issue. And what's gonna happen here is we're not gonna get full control, and Rampage is gonna dive like a 1500 and just dives way too far. I've already backed, I've accepted, what has happened here. And we got into another impromptu fight and we lost. We literally all just should have backed off. That was the biggest mistake, was we just kept going. And what's going to happen here, Rampage is going to die again, I believe. I'm like 50% sure. Let me confirm it. And I believe he actually pings, but I come and I try to give some help here, but it doesn't have. I believe I kill Bushwhack and get out. Actually, I'm curious now. Do I escape? No, I don't even escape. That was a bad play. I dive. So he just pings. He pings mad at Witchslayer. Okay, so that was a lot of information. So let's slowly digest that and figure out how we got there and just the numerous mistakes that could be fixed right off the bat. So first off, the fight had just occurred mid. I go into their jungle to take away their resources, so when they go, they have just killed camps everywhere, standard operating procedure. And then they find me and they start chasing me up mid. My team kind of sees this and they're like, "Oh, maybe we can ambush them." They start running up. Rampage is like, "I'm charging," and Luna's like, "Don't worry, I'm on my way." And the fight gets, basically an impromptu fight initiates. Now, the fight occurs, but the biggest issue with these types of fights, especially in this 1550 to 1650 bracket, is no one really decides when they're over. This happens especially like around the 10-minute mark, where people will just dive and dive and dive and never say, "Hey, this is good, we need to back." Especially during those like first tier towers. Like, I hate when this happens. This is like biggest pet peeve of all time. You have a group of like Hellborn pushing like say, bottom Legion tower. Legion starts defending, and they're like, oh god, we're not going to be able to do this. They get to like half health, and they start running away. And instead of Hellborn taking the tower and backing off, they try to kill those Legion. And then some of the Legion that had died earlier teleport back, because the fight, they chased them so long that they've respawned, teleport back to that tier tower, and then start killing off the Hellborn. When all that should have happened was the Hellborn should have gotten a few kills, taken the tower and back, ends up with no tower taken, and Hellborn die on top of that. And this happens so often in this bracket, and it's just something that I have a vow to never dive so hard ever again, and especially in that early game. And this just kind of extends. Obviously, it's not the same problem as the early game, but still, Rampage dives way, 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 way too far. Like, just why are you going so far? It's like, ugh, what's he thinking? If anyone knows what he's thinking, please tell me. So, he's like, oh, I guess the fight ended, and he starts backing, and then I make the same mistake, and I'm out of the fight. Like, I was way out of the fight. I was back home. I was almost in the well, and something in my brain clicked, and I was like, I should go help him, which was a huge mistake. This is something you should also keep in mind. So you see your friend in peril, and you can go get to him, but you don't know if you can save his life. Basically, assess these two questions. One, is his life important or your life important? Who's the carry, who's the support, comparatively, right? Like, you can have your two highest, geared players and highest level players and the one might not be the support, but you basically have to weigh your two lives and go, is he more important than me now, or am I more important than him? If you're more important than him, do not initiate a fight that you cannot guarantee your survival. Do not initiate a fight that you don't have an exit strategy. I did neither. If I would have said, hey, I'm more important than him, which is true at this point I'm our carry, I would have never gone. Or if I would have, but you know what, and then same thing, had I had an exit strategy, I could have also maybe helped him, but instead I was like, I'm just going to blow up someone because all my spells are off cooldown. That's what I did, and then I died. And that was just a huge mistake. It's just not what I should have done. I maybe could have run up there and just long-range codex someone just to scare them off and have them back off. Rampage would have lived, I would have lived. Instead, what happened was I ran up, blew up, I believe, Bushwhack, one-shot him, and then they killed me and they killed Rampage. Now, after this fight occurs, Rampage is going to rage at MOA. Absolutely 100% rage. He's like, why weren't you there? Why weren't you there? Why weren't you there? This is just a standard rage tactic. I don't know who caused it, but no one likes to blame themselves ever. And they just like to say, okay, did I die? What could have gone wrong that wasn't my fault? Well, MOA wasn't there, and we had a team fight. Didn't he get the memo? I remember clearly saying, hey guys, we're going to start an impromptu fight where where Parasite is getting chased top, and we're all going to sneak up on them as we all chase them down from separate angles, and it's going to continue for a whole 5 minutes straight. No, I mean, if you look at it from MOA's standpoint, a fight started, there's no tower in sight, there's absolutely no way for him to get there within like 45 seconds, so he keeps on farming. I would have done the exact same thing, but instead, this Rampage is like, why weren't you there, why weren't you there? So what's going to happen from this point is Rampage is going to beg for us to push mid, and I am going to beg him not to. Because of file YouTube, or YouTube upload size, I'm going to have to break this down into 2 segments. I'll have the second segment uploaded in a little bit, and let you see the conclusion of this game. I'll also have it down in the description. At some point, I'll learn how to use YouTube where I can just put it right in the video link. But I will catch you guys for part 2 in a little while.